I always take my thumbnails at the beginning of these videos and it's always so humbling. It is very humbling. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Grayson Tate and today we are going to be comparing the AirPods Max versus the AirPods Pro. To give you guys context, I love tech. I use an iPhone and a Mac. And so AirPods are like the go-to option. And honestly, even if you don't have an Apple product, I think AirPods are a really, really great option in the headphone space. So I have used the AirPods Pro for the last, years. I just have been using them since they came out. That being said, the AirPods Max, for all the TikTok girlies out there, have exploded in popularity. I live near a college campus here in Austin, and I see them on everybody, which is very surprising to me because they didn't come out until 2020, and that was already a delay of when they were supposed to come out. Since then, they haven't been updated. So the AirPods Max have been around for 4 years now without an update, and they seem to be getting more popular and not less. And that was really interesting to me. I have tried them in a demo before, but I had never tried them like in my personal life. So I just went on a work trip and I brought the AirPods Pro and I borrowed a pair of the AirPods Max for my mom. Thanks, Mom. I used them a bunch while I was on my trip. So here's all of my thoughts from that trip and which one I think is best for you. Okay, let's just get straight into the design. The AirPods Max and the AirPods Pro are very different. The AirPods Pro are in-ear and the AirPods Max are over-ear. And the main reason why that is important is usually with over-ear headphones, you get better sound quality and you get better noise cancellation around you. The AirPods Pro, this is the second gen, and they fit in your ear just like the others. They come with little removable silicone tips, and they come with a bunch in the box, so you'll probably be able to find a fit. If the original AirPods that don't have this tip did not work for you, I think that the Pros would because the silicone tip keeps them in place. For the AirPods Pro, this is the case. You have a little lanyard loop on the side. You have a speaker and USB charging port on the bottom, and then the AirPods are inside. This is really the perfect little charging case. You can use USB-C or you can use wireless charging on the back, and they pretty much go anywhere. They're tiny, and I actually have a case for mine. I like the case because it protects it, but it just makes it easier to find because they're bright neon yellow, and I'm obsessed with this case. I'll actually link this down below. On the other hand, we have the AirPods Max. Now they come in this famous bra case is what people would call them. And I've got mixed feelings about this case. Honestly, I get why Apple did it. I can hold them with my hand or I can wrap them around my bag, which during travel was actually really useful. On the flip side, it is not protective and it's relatively flimsy and it's made out of silicone. So I understand what they were going here with this case. It's definitely a statement. I just don't think they necessarily hit the nail on the head. Taking them out of the case, you have the AirPods Max. I'm sure you have seen them before on a TikTok girly. And then you have mesh on the very top. Now, these headphones are actually shockingly comfortable. I was really surprised when I first put them on because I didn't think that I would like over-ear headphones. I didn't think I'd like the pressure on my head or the heat on my ears. And I have found that as long as you're not super active in these headphones, they're actually really, really comfortable. I wore them for hours and hours on both of my plane rides and at different points during the convention when I needed to. And especially for like Zoom calls, I would say these are super comfortable. Something that is unique is that because they clamp on the side of your head, if you are animated and talking or chewing, I found myself actually getting a headache on the side of my head, but when I wasn't doing that, I was fine. I think for like a normal Zoom call, my mouth is not moving that much and this would be completely comfortable. My trip actually showed me quite a lot about the AirPods Max. At first, I straight up did not like them. I put them on my head. They didn't sound that different than the AirPods Pro. And then as I started to listen and sit with them, I really started to understand the appeal. I feel a lot more enveloped in my music and whatever I'm watching in this design than I do in the AirPods Pro. Obviously with the Max, something that is of concern is weight. These are made out of metal, they are very high quality, and they are heavy. I have tried pretty much every other over-ear headphone from any other manufacturer, including the new Bose headphones, including the new Sony XM5 headphones. All of those are way lighter. I would not say they are built as well, but they are more comfortable in that sense. The thing that I found with the AirPods Max, because when I first tried them years ago in a demo, I thought they were very uncomfortable. What you really have to get good at is figuring out the length of these arms right here, making sure they're even and making sure the headphones actually sit further back on your head than further forward. It made them sound better, and it also made them a lot more comfortable because I think that there was more bone and surface area when they were partly on the back of your skull than when they're on the front and they're more on your face. Once I figured that out, they became very comfortable long term. The headband at the top did not press in and hurt. It has this mesh to distribute some of the weight. I would say this mesh is a great design feature. It is not a great durability feature. These are obviously the black headphones, and I know my mother takes very good care of these. I would say that if you are more active or if you get a lighter color, you will definitely notice the wear and tear over time. Then on the flip side, the AirPods Pro, obviously you've got your two little earbuds and they're identical. And they have a very unique shape that should fit into most people's ears. And even if they don't, you should be able to find ear tips in the box that will fit your ears better. I'm actually using the larger ear tips than the ones that they come in, which is normally medium. And when I put them in my ears, I mean, you really can't get more comfortable than this. They barely feel like they're there. I go running in them very regularly. There's no weight, there's no heat, they fit perfectly. So if they do fit in your ear and you find the right ear tip, then these are perfect. I know that on Amazon you can actually get other foam, like memory foam ear tips, so that might help you if these are not particularly comfortable. Weight, obviously not an issue. Heat, not an issue. They are sweat and dust resistant, which is really helpful. The AirPods Max are not technically. They're still durable headphones, but I definitely would not take them to the gym. So let's get into where the real differences are. Obviously the design is different, they're different form factors, but there's a lot more underneath the surface. And as an AirPods Pro lover, I was having a hard time understanding why people would decide to spend way more money on the Max. After my couple of trips with them, I am really starting to understand. So the first thing is battery. The AirPods Max themselves get 20 to 24 hours of battery, and honestly, with the way I was using them, I think I could get even more. They go to a deep sleep when they're in this case, which is kind of an annoying thing about the case. You can't technically turn them off. If you leave them out on your desk, they will go into low power mode, but not complete sleep. The AirPods Pro last 5 hours on their own at max, but then 24 hours with charges in the case. You can pop them in the case and get a charge really quickly, which is super helpful, especially when you're traveling. In the battery front, I would say AirPods Max win. For my flight, obviously never got a low battery notification. At times with my AirPods Pro, I do. The main area that battery comes into play for me is that I always use headphones to take all of my work calls. And some of my work calls can go really long, or I have a bunch back to back. I have just dropped them all over the floor. They go flying. That's one thing about them. They go flying out of the case when you drop them. I have been on a bunch of work calls in a row, and at my second or third call, the AirPods are telling me that they're dying. Obviously, I can throw them into the case for a quick 5 or 10 minutes, but when I'm in back-to-back meetings, that's not really an option. So if you're in a lot of video calls, then I would say the AirPods Max is definitely going to be a better fit for you, only because they last longer. So on the flip side, on calls, both of them are really great audio performance. I have never had an issue with anybody being able to understand me with the microphone system, and at least on an iPhone and on a Mac, you can turn on voice isolation when you're in a call or when you're in an app that's making a call, and that basically focuses everything on your voice. It works really, really well. I have literally done dishes and people do not know that the water is running. And as far as I know, that's actually not an Apple headphone specific feature. That's just an iPhone and Mac feature now. So you should be able to use that with any headphone. It's super, super helpful. Here is where things get weird. The AirPods Pro have been super popular for Apple. So this is the second generation of AirPods Pro. They got released last year. They added two different things, the H2 chip and the U1 chip. And these are just processors that are built into the headphones and into the case. And the reason why this is important is because the U1 chip is for precision finding. So if you lose the AirPods or the case, you can make them make a noise with the case or with AirPods. And you can use your phone and it'll point you in the direction and tell you how many feet away you are from them, which is super helpful if you've lost them in your bag, the couch, or somewhere in the car. The H2 chip is important because it is an updated version of the H1 chip and it allows for a bunch of new features. Adaptive audio, personal volume, and conversation awareness. These are 3 smart features that use the power of the H2 chip to work. And I will say, adaptive audio is kind of magic. Instead of having just transparency mode or having just noise cancellation mode, which is common on these products and any headphones in the space, You have adaptive audio, which what it does is let in some noise. So you might hear, something running in the distance. You might hear somebody walking up to you or a car driving up to you. But as they move away, the AirPods know to just blend them out. And the first time I used it, it really is magic. It's things that are closer to you, you will hear unless they're repetitive or monotonous, and then the AirPods will just blend them out. When I use my air compressor to fill my bike tires, I hear them very loudly. I hear the air compressor very loudly at first, and then as the AirPods notices that the sound is still there, it just fades it out. It really is kind of magical, and it's very much a feature that I love. The AirPods Max, on the other hand, because they came out 4 years ago, use the H1 chip, and the H1 chip is great because you can automatically switch between your devices, just like in the H2. If you have Apple devices, you can be watching a video on your iPad and then get a call on your iPhone, pick it up on your iPhone, and it just switches. It's instant, it's very helpful. That is basically what the H1 chip can do. It cannot do all of the other features I just talked about. That is a huge miss now that these AirPods have been out for almost a year. Apple has shown interest in updating the AirPods Max. They haven't yet, and it's not known what exactly the update will entail. And I think that if the AirPods Max are missing the H2 chip, that's going to be a big loss. Also, the AirPods Max do not have the U1, the precision finding chip at all. So they're obviously a bit harder to lose, but if you do misplace them, you will not be able to use your phone to get precision finding to figure out exactly where they are. Or if they get lost, you'll get a general location of where they are, not a precise one. Okay, let's just get into the sound. The AirPods original, the OG, sounded good. And then the AirPods second generation sounded better. And then the AirPods Pro sounded great because it was active noise cancellation. And then the AirPods Pro second generation sound even better. They sound really, really good. So I was really skeptical using the Max because obviously they're much larger and the speakers inside are much larger. They're huge drivers. So I assumed that the sound quality would be a lot better. When I first started wearing them, I was not hearing it. I was not getting it. I didn't understand it. And then something shifted. I was listening to music that I always listen to on Spotify, which isn't the best audio quality. And I was listening to, I think, a song by Ray. I love her, and her music is very interesting and kind of complicated in some of the songs. And she uses a lot of instrumentals. And I was hearing detail and instrumentals in like an expansive soundstage that I had never heard before. And it made me a little emotional. I was actually really surprised. I was sitting in my hotel room. It was late at night and I was just unwinding. And I really started to notice a difference. The biggest difference here is that the AirPods Max envelop your ears in sound. When people say that it feels more open, they're talking about the soundstage feeling wider. It feels like things are further away and it feels like there's a larger area of space. The AirPods Pro sound amazing, but they have little drivers that point directly into your ear. So they sound very rich and detailed, but I wouldn't say they sound as expansive. And when I'm on a plane or when I'm relaxing at the end of the day, or if I'm just in a focus mode and really, really working, I like the difference. It definitely made me want to reach for the AirPods Max when I was stationary or when I wasn't doing very much, because it really was just a way that I could enjoy music even more. Obviously, the AirPods Pro sound fantastic. A lot of people say they sound very similar to the AirPods Max, and I would agree. There's just a little bit more clarity and detail in the Max. And the AirPods Max compared to all of the other headphones, I think sounds the best. I do not get why everybody thinks the Sony XM5s sound the best. I think they sound muddy, and I don't think they sound like detailed, and there's not nuance to the headphones. There's just a lot of bass. And even when you adjust EQ on Sony XM5s, the Bose QC45, QC Ultra, the Beats Studio Pro. Those are actually made by Apple now, and they are on a very deep sale right now, so they might be worth looking at it. And they sound good, but they don't sound great. And if you're going to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, you want that next level of a listening experience. So, long story short with sound, AirPods Max is really where it's at. If Apple updates these, I will be very interested to see if they could sound even better. The one difference here is active noise cancellation. So obviously you can turn it on and the outside world just blends out fully. The AirPods Pro do this better. They sit in your ear, and so they get a better seal around your ear, and I've noticed that they cut out sounds more consistently. The AirPods Max have been kind of the king of active noise cancellation for a while, And I think that some of the competitors do a better job. The main thing I noticed with these is they do a great job. The world will be dampened around you. The issue that I found is that there's mics on the bottom, right here. So when I was facing a sound, there was a waterfall at my hotel, and when I was facing it, it would block it out pretty well. But if I would turn and this microphone is getting more information than this microphone, I would notice kind of a difference. Like I could notice the AirPods Max trying to figure out the right balance. And it wasn't a huge deal, and I'm a really detail-oriented person, but that is a moment where I think an upgraded processor like the H2 would make a difference, because it would make a better decision of how to block out that sound. And I would only notice that when I was moving my head or if there was something particularly loud in front of me. So in general, on an airplane, it blocked out most everything. But that is one thing I've noticed that I would say is a detractor of the Max, simply because they're starting to show their age. So let's get into the price. You can find the AirPods Pro for about $189 on sale, new about $249. It depends, but they're on sale quite a lot. The AirPods Max have basically never gone on sale since they have launched. They launched at $549, and if you bought them from Apple, they would be $549. A lot of times on Best Buy and on Amazon, you can find them for maybe $500, maybe $449 is the cheapest, but they are significantly more expensive. And for that money, I think that this is just like a theme of my channel. You should probably wait. And the reason why I say this is because there's a bunch of credible rumors that Apple is finally going to update the AirPods Max this year. They have grown in popularity. I think TikTok was a huge part of that, and they are due for an upgrade. I hope that we see some new colors. I would love like a deep brown. I think that that would be chic as hell. And I would love to see an upgraded processor so we get the new features and better noise cancellation. And the main thing is actually not even the case. If they change this case, I would be happy. But this is not a deal breaker for me the way that it is for most people. I want them to change the lightning port. Now, if you have been watching my channel for any amount of time right now, you know that I am a USB-C girl. I love USB-C, it's the best. So I'm sick and tired of lightning. The AirPods Pro uses USB-C, so certainly the AirPods Max can be updated. It looks like if they update anything, it's going to be the port, but I hope that Apple goes a little bit further and gives us like new and diehard fans, you know, a better option. Because if they updated it and it had newer features and it had a new charging port, I think the $549 makes sense. It's really expensive, but you are buying a high-end luxury product, and this definitely would fit the bill. And if they would change anything else, it might be this mesh on the top. I've seen that people who have these for a long time, the mesh wears out, so it doesn't seem like the best design. But knowing Apple, they kind of stick with one design for a very long time and get their money's worth, so I would not hold your breath for that. If you are interested in the best experience, I would say the AirPods Pro, the second generation, is the way to go today. And if you're wanting the best sound quality and you can take the trade-offs for now, AirPods Max. If you're going to buy these, buy them used and be very, very careful, because there are a ton of fakes out there and they are very good. So I would only buy them through reputable sources, or if you can verify that they're a genuine pair with Apple. Otherwise, you will think that you have bought new ones and you have bought fake ones, and I am so sorry. I would not spend the money on them brand new. I would wait until probably this summer or this fall, and hopefully we will be very excited and well rewarded, and I can do a review if they get updated. I hope that this was helpful. It's kind of a random video for this time of year, especially since the AirPod Max are so old, but it was just something that came up in my life, and I've really, really enjoyed them. I am in the subreddit for AirPods Max, and all of those people just love it on Reddit. So if you have questions, I would go ask them or leave questions in the comments for me, and of course, I will be happy to answer them. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe below if you like this type of content, or if you just want to support me trying my best. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.